Koho Mada. How are you, my Sri Lankan fans? Shikhar, that's the word in Sinhalese. And I also want to teach our Sri Lankan audience. Sri Lankan Bhai means brother. So, very well awaited test series, Shikhar. Me, you, Sri Lanka, whole world is actually going to keep an eye on this test series because both teams have a shot at World Test Championship finals. And they both haven't been to World Test Championship finals. Sri Lanka was actually number three last cycle. We know how close they were. And South Africa has been consistently at number four also in last two cycles. So this must mean a lot. South Africa have recently found their mojo in Test cricket. We have seen that how they played in Bangladesh, and now at home they must be really waiting for Sri Lanka and Pakistan and to show their dominance. So, Shikhar, we will talk about this Test series, two Test matches, one in Durban and other one in Port Elizabeth. And I'll just quickly debrief you with the uh, squads. But before that, I just want your comments on this exciting Test series.
See, man, Pratik, this is do or die for Sri Lanka. This series, they have to win this series, and South Africa also need to win this series for both of them to have a chance. And South Africa is coming after a terrific series win in Bangladesh, which was not a expected result.
Yeah.
But their fast bowlers were brilliant. Rabada and Vian Mulder, both were excellent. And now what I'm happy about is that Marco Jansen has also come back to the squad, and Gerald Coetzee is also back. But I
So
was
do you
also
you do like
expecting.
Jansen in Test?
See, they won a series without him, so I'm still not sure if they need him. But yeah, he's back, and
But with the
I'm
height,
not
he does
impressed.
present a challenge in Test cricket. Like you have to
I
agree.
like his bowling, Pratik. I'm only my only worry with Marco Jansen is his batting.
Hmm.
It's been poor. But coming to Sri Lanka first, because we are talking about Sri Lanka here. So I want a very good performance from Asita Fernando and Milan Ratnaike and Vishwa Fernando. Asita, I know he will deliver,
Hmm.
but it will depend on Vishwa Fernando and Milan Ratnaike how good they can
Hmm.
bowl, and Lahiru Kumara, who will be the fourth pacer most likely.
We call him Gas
And I
Man
don't know
because
why
he
they are
comes with so
carrying.
much passion.
I don't know. See, the gas man, Lahiru Kumara, he's the gas man. We all know him. He's the gas man. And he's very important to extract that bounce and pace in South Africa.
Yeah.
If it's Durban, I think it may be a very quick venue. Port Elizabeth may be more of a spin friendly venue. And that's why they're carrying three spinners.
Hmm.
So that I was a bit surprised when I saw the Sri Lankan squad. So
Yeah, they
Nishant
recalled
Seris.
Embuldenia. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just a strong backup,
Hmm,
but not sure if he'll play.
hmm.
They also recalled Kasun Rajita. If you remember, he doesn't have pace, but he's an expert with swinging the ball. So I'm glad to see him.
Yeah, so that must be made in that call has been made keeping in mind the conditions in Port Elizabeth, because we saw last time there was a test match between South Africa and Bangladesh where all wickets were picked by Keshav
Yeah,
Maharaj and Simon Harmer, and
yeah, yeah.
both these
That
spinners
was
actually
surprising.
picked
Yeah,
the
that was
wickets.
very surprising.
So there are some subcontinent element in that conditions, but mostly I think from Sri Lanka's point, two persons who hold the key in the batting are going to be again Kamindu Mendes. I am so excited, so excited to see Kamindu Mendes keep on scoring hundreds and keeping his average above 100 again in South Africa, and I
And
think
he
he's
played
going to
well in
love.
England, which gives me hope. He played well in England.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played really well in England. He has played well in Sri Lanka against New Zealand, to which India lost actually, and it was against Willow Roorkee, against which Indian batters also struggled.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have some
You
hope.
said two guys.
Rabada,
One is Kamindu. Who's the other one?
yes, the other guy is Dinesh Chandimal. I think he is going to be super important. I know it's Dinesh Chandimal and Dhananjay De Silva also, because he
Hmm.
also plays a lot of counter-attacking rearguard innings. But I will say Dinesh Chandimal's attacking intent is going to be so important. So Kamindu Mendes, Dinesh Chandimal, and Dhananjay De Silva. I'll give these three the importance, but also Vishwa Fernando and I know Asita is going to perform, But Milan and Lahiru Kumara and Vishwa Fernando. Vishwa Fernando actually did well in that series win versus South Africa when they won in 2018. He was actually one of the important members of that squad.
That,
So
that's a very
yeah,
good point.
uh,
And can you see the squad now, Shikhar? I just pulled it up. Can you see?
yeah. I can see the squad. So it's a big touring party. They are sending and yeah,
Yeah,
it's
man.
quite.
I
So
think again
certainly
the
they
11
they
will be easy, Shikhar. I think the 11 you will have to start with Pathum Nisanka because he scored an away
yeah
100. So you will start with
yeah.
Pathum Nisanka, and I think the experienced Dimut Karunaratne, even though it's a big name, might
Hmm.
be waiting for his turn. I think the first Test match you will start with Pathum Nisanka at the top along with Kushal Mendes, who has again been the star player for Sri
Oh
Lanka.
no. I don't think Kushal Mendes is going to open because now he has found his spot in the number 7 position. That is the keeper position. So I think it will be Pathum Nisanka and Dimut Karunaratne.
Hmm.
But the backup opener is they have sacked Madhushka and they have included Oshada Fernando. So I
Yeah,
think Oshada Fernando is going to be the backup opener. And then you have your number 3 will be uh,
uh,
yeah, probably Sadira or
I think Sadira is just a backup again. I think the number 3 might
hmm.
be Dinesh Chandimal plays 4, right? So
Yeah,
Chandimal is
Dinesh
2,
Chandimal will be
Matthews is
4.
5.
Yeah, it can be Matthews. It can be Matthews will be number 3. Most probably Matthews will be number 3. Dinesh Chandimal
Again,
number
what
4.
an excellent servant for Sri Lanka, man. Matthews still around. So that is a
Yeah,
very big boost to have. You can clearly see how Sri Lankan batting is more experienced than South Africa, which we will pull now. But yeah,
but
having
Sri
those
Lankan
three in the
batting
middle
is
order, Shikhar, that's better than any middle order. Matthews, Chandimal, and Kamindu Mendes. Just imagine, man. That's if they play to their
and Kushal Mendes and you
Dhananjay De
have
Silva.
that
Dhananjay De Silva.
Dhananjay De Silva.
This is
Yeah, yeah.
five batters, man. Like no one in other team has that luxury which Sri Lanka currently has.
I'm going to say that 5, 6, and 7, like Kamindu Mendes, Kusal Mendes, and
Dhananjay De Silva.
Dhananjay De Silva. I mean, these three batters are going to define whether Sri Lanka win this series or not.
Yeah,
So these three players playing how they play Rabada, how they play Vian Mulder, how they play Marco Jansen, especially the Durban Test. I'm sure they'll play well in Port Elizabeth. By that time, they would have acclimatized to the South African conditions also.
yeah.
But yeah, it's the first test that's going to be the difference. I think that's going to be very important
Now
test
my
match.
main question is that will they be confident with these seven, or will they also think like I want Milan Ratnayaka at 8, who played a 70 runs not
Yeah,
in England. But
no,
Shikhar,
you can't
honestly, I
discount his
did not
contribution.
enjoy Milan Ratnayaka's bowling. Very honest, I think his
Yeah,
bowling still need some improvement. And Sri Lanka has a lot of good pacers, better than Milan Ratnayake in that squad. They have the Gasman, they
no,
have Asita
yeah,
and
yeah,
Vishwa Fernandos, and then Prabhat Jasuri is
yeah.
fixed. One spinner is fixed. So if
That's
you
the
play
call that
Milan,
they have
you
to
have to
make.
make
I
other
think
person. Yeah.
that's the call they have to make. I think Prabha Jasuria can be dropped for the first test, and
Oh,
they can play with they can play with 4 spinners because I don't think Durban is going to be such a spin venue where you'll need the spinner. Okay, so
but
I
not
think they
all
should
teams
play.
treat their legends like that, Ashwin.
No, if you see the match they won versus England also, Pratik. So they played with 4 pieces. There also they dropped Prabha Jasuria. The last match which had Pathum Nisanka's 100
Actually, don't know.
and Vishwa Fernando well bowled well. Even in that match they played with four
Actually, it's
pieces.
an option
So
because Dhananjay De Silva is also very handy with his spin. So,
yeah.
hmm.
You have Kamindu Mendes also
Ah,
bowling spin, and Dhananjay De Silva also bowling spin. So I don't think they should go with a spinner in Durban, but
hmm.
definitely they should go with 2 spinners in Port Elizabeth. Whether it's definitely going to be Prabhat Jasuria, and if I think the second spinner is Nishan Perez because he played well.
He played really
I
well
don't
in
think.
that
Yeah,
debut.
yeah.
Yeah, he had a good debut. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then Temba Bavuma is back. For some reason, he has
Yeah,
very big fan following. Shikhar Temba Bavuma. We were missing him in action.
yeah. There is a lot that follows his body, so that's why his fan following is also big.
But I do
because there
like
are
him in this format. Like he does add value to that batting lineup, especially when it is such so unexperienced with Tony DeZorzi in his first year.
Mm,
You have
mm,
Bedingham also. Like he's an experienced county player, but again for South Africa, he's only been there for a
mm,
year. So there are
mm,
so many new players in that top order. So Temba Bavuma and
mm.
Markram will have a bigger role here.
Yeah, man, and Markram really needs to pull his socks. I mean, he's been very disappointing in last few series. So, I mean, the informed batsmen, if you ask me, are Tony DeZorzi and Tristan Stubbs and
Tristan Stubbs, man,
Ian Mulder.
he's a game changer because he can play like
Hmm.
ABD. He can actually he has
Hmm.
shown some very good knocks, very showed resilience, but he can also tonk and just change the game in
Hmm.
one session. That's why he's very most dangerous for me is actually Tristan Stubbs.
And I think Senuran Muthuswamy is going to play in Port Elizabeth along with Keshav Maharaj. And yeah, I mean, the pace attack is going to be interesting. I mean, sure, Kagiso Rabada is going to play, uh, and Vian Mulder is going to support him. Whether they go with Marco Jansen or I'm sure they'll go with Marco Jansen because he's
But
an
Vian Mulder
all-rounder.
was a star in Bangladesh with the bat and ball,
Mm.
so it will be very hard to drop him.
Yeah, they will probably go with both the seam bowling all-rounders.
Hmm.
So Dane Patterson has to sit out, and I
Yeah.
think one more pacer has to sit out. So I think the pace bowling will be something like so they'll play Marco Jansen, they'll play Vian Mulder, they'll play Kagiso Rabada,
Hmm.
and they will play
This
another proper pacer. So
this
that
is a
is
full
going
strength
to
South Africa team after a long time, except Enric Nokia. Everyone is there.
they'll probably play Gerald Coetzee as well. So they'll go with
And
four pacers, that is two pacers and two pace all rounders,
yeah,
and they will go with Keshav Maharaj. So that is going to be their last five batsmen,
I'm
and
aligned. I'm aligned. And Kyle
and
Virani, he has surprised me. Like he has shown so much good consistency recently. So I'm
yeah,
very
Kyle
happy.
Bryan will be number six. Then you have the top five of Tony DeZorzi, Markram, and uh, of course Temba Bavuma will be number three, and the
But will
other
you
two
still rate Sri
batsmen.
Lankan's batting better than South Africa, even though Sri Lanka is playing away?
No, I mean, see, the South Africa have a lot of quality in David Bedingham will be probably number four,
Hmm.
and there will be another batsman at number five that I'm not sure it can be either of the, yeah, it could be anyone. But what I want to say is, see, South Africa is still very strong at home. See, they
Hmm.
beat India with a very weak kind of 11, which had David Bedingham, which had Keegan Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to actually miss Keegan Peterson here, although
Yeah.
he has not performed in a long time. His domestic record is also falling away, but still, I think South Africa looks strong. Uh, it will be interesting if they promote Ryle Rickleton, if they can give him one test match.
Hmm.
That will be interesting to see. But
Shikhar,
other than that,
one interesting thing that has happened in 2024 is that India's fortress was breached by New Zealand, and then New Zealand also like lost at home to Australia. So can this be the
mm,
year when South Africa also loses at home? But I also wanted to show you again, to your point, how South Africa has dominated the Asian teams. And Shikhar, the reason I've only pulled like
mm,
last 10 years of data is because this is after Callis and Graeme Smith retired in 2014. Even after that, you can see South Africa won all the series, only except two, where one is Sri Lanka beat
mm,
South Africa, and the other recent one where India were able to draw with them, not beat, but just draw with them. But you can see the
mm,
South African domination, especially against the Asian side. The template is simple. They will prepare a green pitch where their batters know little bit to bat, but Asian batters
mm,
scared to bat. So
mm. Yeah, man. See, South African, I mean, Rabada is just brilliant. He just took 300 wickets. The way he's bowling, he's better than Jimmy Anderson in the current era of Pacers. So, I mean, it all depends on him, how he bowls and how much support he gets from Coetzee or Marco Jansen. So, I think South Africa still start as favorite, but Sri Lanka will have a big advantage in Port Elizabeth, which is, I still feel it's going to be a spin friendly venue.
hmm.
There, I think. Keshav Maharaj and Senuran Muthuswamy, they will really have to be very good. So that's the only thing that I feel that Sri Lanka will have an advantage in Port Elizabeth. So I'm going to predict 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1. But yeah, South Africa. But even in this era where you're showing the results versus South Africa, I mean, they had some very good talent bowling. So I'm missing the name. I think it was Duan Olivier who
Uh,
bowled really well versus Pakistan.
Pakistan that 3-0. And also Ngidi got injured, Shikhar. Otherwise, he would have also been in the squad.
NGD bowled really well versus
Hmm.
India, I think, in one of the series. So they had lot of contributions, and even Vernon Philander, Morne Morkel, all
One
these
of
guys
Philander
were
was
playing.
a different beast.
Yeah, all these guys were playing in that era. Even after 2014, they played for
And
some
Amla
time.
was still there until 2018. So they had some.
Yeah, yeah. So that team was
But
different. South Africa
Shikhar,
is
I'm a little bit
struggling.
upset why this test series is only two tests, especially games move very quickly in South Africa. It might be 3 days test. Both of them might be 3 day tests. So, only 6 days where England hosted Sri Lanka for three series and we saw Sri Lanka was able to eventually bounce back in the end. So that is my one concern that if
Mm.
Sri Lanka takes a little bit time in adapting, the series might already be over.
That is the problem with SA20. I think South Africa has a very, very limited scope now. They're prioritizing the SA20 so much that Test cricket has taken a backseat.
I mean,
That's
even
the
India,
sad.
they hosted India for two test matches. Can you believe that? Like, India
Yeah,
usually play always 3 or 4 tests.
and that's why you saw like players like Heinrich Klaasen actually retiring from Dean
Mm.
Elgar retiring from Test cricket because they also see that the board is really not prioritizing. There is no benefit for the players actually.
Yeah.
But now something is at stake, that is the WTC finals. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, they'll be fired up. I mean, guys like Roberta, Markram, at least these guys should be fired up because they'll not get many chances for WTC finals. And same goes for Sri Lanka. They also know. I think Sri Lanka won that series last time. Kusal Pereira was just brilliant in that
Yeah.
test match. They'll definitely miss someone like maybe someone who can actually take the ball for attack from ball one. I think Patum Nisanka can and Chandimal, both of them
Yeah.
can do that.
And then Kushal Mendes is still there to play that impactful knock in the middle order.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the form that Kusal Mendes is in, that's golden. Like, after saying that I don't know Virat Kohli in 2023 ODI World Cup, he's actually started playing like Virat Kohli in ODI
yeah.
cricket. But can he replicate that form in Test cricket and against that kind of quality attack
Hmm.
and in that condition? That we have to see. But
My my
it will
prediction
be
is
very
also
exciting.
1-1 because I want that both of their teams have their chances in the World Test Championship. Because if any team
Hmm.
gets whitewashed here, they'll probably be out of that race. So it will be very interesting if this is 1-1 and then both Sri Lanka and South Africa, their fate will be decided in their next series. One is Sri Lanka, Australia, and then South Africa, Pakistan. And these are very equally
Oh,
matched team too, because Sri Lanka's batting is, I feel, slightly better, but then South Africa pace attack is superior. So I feel that it's very even contest, and I am expecting some close contest and some.
I mean, if you see that, I mean, you can see that Sri Lanka really has a very good chance because Pakistan can still troubles. Pakistan is not going to be easy for South Africa, but
They're unpredictable. They're quicks, especially. Yeah.
yeah, Australia is going to be easy for Sri Lanka if they play well in Sri Lanka. So Australia is going to be easy
The
for
way they
Sri Lanka
dominated
because
Kiwis, yeah, I think Sri Lanka has the edge there in that series.
and Australia are not a side that plays well in spinning conditions. Also, their batting is very very vulnerable to collapses
Yeah.
right now. Even we are seeing in the Border Gavaskar Trophy that how they collapsed 57 for 8, 57 for 7, something they
Mhm.
were. So yeah, man. I mean, Sri Lanka has a really good chance, so they should be fired up.
Should be fired up. They have to
And
win one match here, and they can get it. They can do it. They have done it.
the captaincy of Dhananjay De Silva is going to be very crucial. How he rotates his bowlers
Mm.
and fires them up. It's going to
This
be
might be
very
his first
important.
away tour, right? Because he's only captained in Sri Lanka so far.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing that really gives an advantage to South Africa is that lower order batting. You have Maharaj, you have uh, Muthuswamy, you have Rabarda also bats a lot.
yeah,
Marco Jansen is there, Vian Mulder is there. So many options We have seen Varane scoring centuries in Australia and
Hmm.
Bangladesh. So you have such a depth in the batting.
Hmm.
Fragile top order gets neutralized with that kind of depth. But Sri Lanka, I mean, apart from Milan Ratnaike, you can't expect Prabhat Jasuria, or you can't expect Kasun Rajita, or you can't expect uh, Asita Fernando to actually bat. That's going to be the issue. And that could be the difference actually
And
in
one
this.
problem Sri Lanka has had in England was they were losing 4 or 5 wickets before reaching 100. That was happening very often. So I think that for that reason, it does make sense to tell Dimut Karunaratne, you have been a stalwart in the past. Can you just stay at one end and guide your team? I think, yeah, I would. I'm now thinking Dimut should play first test and he should stand there like a rock, like Dean Elgar used to for South Africa. So because if Sri Lanka passes that initial phase somehow, this team is so talented they can even score 400 in bowling friendly conditions. That's how the talented middle order is.
It's
Once
going
the
to be
ball gets
difficult
old,
for
they have the players to smash South African attack.
it's going to be difficult for Dimut because I really feel he's past his prime and uh
Shikhar, that's what I'm
commentating.
realizing. I think Test cricket is not for people after 32. I'm sorry, but I like so many Test cricketers like Virat Kohli. Big names have struggled once they pass their 33, 34 age. Unfortunately, Test cricket is a game for young cricketers. You're right. But Matthews has one guy who has shown that it's not true. Misbah-ul-Haq is one guy who has shown it's not true. So
Yeah, Matthews has, but it has been very. I mean, Matthews did play some crucial knocks in England, no doubt. But I need to see some hundreds from Matthews because yes, crucial 50s
it
partnerships
is, yeah.
with Kamindu Mendes, all those are very good. But I just want to, Dimuth and Matthews should take the lead ideally. But still, my expectation is from the informed batsman Dhananjay, Kamindu, and
Nisanta and Kusal Mendes.
Kusal Mendes. Kusal Mendes. Desanka again, it's going to be tough for him.
Hmm.
Being in South Africa, he's just started his test career. He started with a bang, but this quality of attack of South Africa with Kagiso Rabada
Yeah.
is much difficult than what he had with Gus Atkinson and some other bowlers there. I mean, even Mark Wood was not playing that test, if I remember. So it was Matty Potts was there, and I think Gus Atkinson was there.
Quite average
So
attack,
it's
yeah.
going,
Except Gus
yeah,
Atkinson,
yeah,
you'll find. Yeah.
yeah. It was quite an average attack, and this is going to be a very good attack, especially if they get bouncy pitch in Durban and Marco Jansen also becomes a very dangerous
And
bowler.
Maharaj has
Coetzee,
also learned that how to bowl in South Africa track. Very few spinners have ever been successful like
yeah,
he has been. So there will be no
and
respite. Everyone will be attacking you. Yeah.
Coetzee is going to make life hell. I mean, the bounce and pace that he generates on that kind of pitches and the aggression that he has. He is a very rare cricketer, and he's going to chip in with the bat as well. So add him to that lower order,
Hmm.
Coetzee also, and he's going to be a very important factor
I
in
think
this
that's why
team.
Prabhat will take care of the lower order. I feel that's why they need them. But yeah, thank you, Shikhar. This was such a good preview, and I'm so excited because it cannot be a harder challenge than facing South Africa bowling. But at the same time, I don't think there is any other batting lineup like what Sri Lanka has currently in the world cricket. So I'm very excited for this, itching to get this content started. And thank you guys. Please subscribe if you like the video and comment, show your comments, show your love, guys. Thank you so much.
So Rabada is going to be the player of the series for me, or
Oh,
Coetzee. Rabada or Coetzee. That's all I am going to see.
I'm gonna say Dhananjay De Silva. Captain leading from the front, we need you. We need you to help
Yeah.
us win.
If from Sri Lankan side, I am going to guess Kamindu Mendes. My favorite.
Okay. Thanks, Shikhar.